Hello, it is the Alpenglow Solder Sesh. Welcome, welcome. Awesome. And so today we have JP on. He's a good friend of ours and that we've been hanging out with for like, I don't know, over a year now. And he's so graciously, let us crash in his black tent for Maker Faire recently. And which was awesome because then all of our LED stuff was together and it showed off really, really well. So yeah, welcome.
Yeah, we lucked out on that booth. That was great.
It was way fun. It was way better sharing a tent than being in a tent, I think, by myself at least. It was just more fun.
Yeah. It worked out great.
Yeah,
especially with some of our other friends that came and joined us.
Yeah, totally. That was good. We had some sun and moon couture up in the tent too. So all the LEDs. Cool.
Well, yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm always grateful to be a part of it. Anything that you're working on, anything that helps out Alpenglow or any of the other people from the Maker Circle that I've met over the years now.
It's a good crew.
Yeah, it really is.
Maker people are the awesome people for sure.
And I didn't really fully grasp who had adopted me into their group until I went to SuperCon. Like at one point, somebody came up and started talking to like the circle of people that I was talking to, and at one point they asked, "Is everybody in this group one of the speakers?" And I looked around, and everybody had wristbands except me, and I was like, "Holy shit, man!" Like, and then meeting Anthony, who further like told me that he's been working in a silo for years. I'm just so fortunate and so grateful. So I'm happy to give away most of everything that I work on. I feel like it's the least I can do.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, Twitter RIP, but definitely helped. It helped me find people and connect with people that were doing some really cool stuff in the space. And I super appreciate that. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, LEDs and cool art that you can make with it is, I mean, it's like a gateway drug. That plus 3D printers, you can do anything you want.
Yeah.
Jason and his Fibonacci discs are what really got me started. I don't know what it is about them, but I just love them. They're beautiful. I probably have like 30 or 40 of them. Yeah. And I'm not exaggerating. And I have the biggest one so far. It's about 23 inches in diameter. It's huge.
I hear that every time he makes something now, he just like sends something to you, you know. I think you're like you're now like also official beta tester.
Yeah, I'd like to think that. I try to give as much feedback as possible. He's advanced so far beyond what I'm building at this point. Any input I can do to try to help him out is great. Martin is another wonderful maker that I met. And that's how the balloons got started, really. It started out with...
Yeah, tell us the story. So you make all of these amazing balloons that we're seeing in your background, and you've been doing these balloons for over a year now, kind of making different versions and tweaking them.
I think we're probably up to like 2 years now.
2 years? Yeah.
A lot.
And you make all sorts of different sizes and colors, and
yeah, we've got the whole family in the background right there. You've got the little tiny one, and then a medium, then the large one, and then the new baby is the giant one.
Yeah,
this thing has been quite a challenge. To give you an idea, this is the size of,
oh my gosh,
the little guy.
Nice.
It's much bigger, and this one's only 310 by 310, so it can get bigger. I bought the CRM4 recently, so my printing capabilities are all the way up to 450 by 450 by 470. So we can go quite a bit larger than this.
And how long did that 310 by 310 millimeter one take to print?
The first time,
right.
First time it was far less efficient. So that's version 2. The one above it took 7.5 days and 1.3 kilos of PETG.
Okay.
I decided I'm going to buy a big printer, and why start out with PLA? Why make it any easier than it has to be? So I ordered 3 or 4 kilos of PETG and got to work.
Nice. Okay, so tell us about what got you started on the whole balloon kick.
So yeah, Martin.
Whoa, so many more balloons now.
created. Sorry about that. Martin created a fiber optic vase that I loved it. You pushed the fiber optic into these channels, and that process was terrible because my 3D printing skills weren't quite up to par. And I put the vase together, and by the time it was done, my thumbs were raw. And the whole point of making it was for my girlfriend as a gift, but my thumbs were just completely raw, and I was like, man, this is terrible. I don't want to ever do this again. And so, yeah, it wasn't a complete gift at that point. So I needed to capture my face using an Xbox 360 Kinect. In a couple of different variations so that I could put those on the faces of the roses, because the goal was to give my girlfriend a vase with roses that would never wilt or die. They would last forever. And I've had a lot of fun with the Xbox Kinect, scanning my head and putting it on everything. It's super stupid, but
it's hilarious, and like that's a good enough reason to make something, is because it's funny and it makes you smile.
And you know what's weird? Like in my professional life, I've made statues and stuff that I've given to customers, and they love it. Like I've got a guy that's into cars, so I took the flying spur on the front of a Bentley and printed that out like large with my stupid face on it, and
nice.
He loved it. He's got it like right on his desk. I'm like, why is that on your desk, man? He's like, it's great.
That's awesome. Excellent advertising.
It's a lot of fun. And so after making that vase and giving my girlfriend a dozen roses with my face on it, I reached out to Martin and asked, I usually, when I complete a project, I'll reach back out to the maker, especially if they've provided good documentation and given everything away for free. I'll reach out to them and try to give them a donation if it's an option of like 15, 20, 30, 40 bucks, depending on like how crazy the project is. Yeah. Depending on if I had to bug them somewhere in between. Yeah. I might give them more or less, but just something to as a token of appreciation. Yeah. And that got me talking to Martin. And originally I had created the paper lantern balloons like this guy.
Yeah.
Over here. Like I bought those and lined it with fairy lights. And that was like the original idea and concept. And then I picked up a 3D printer, started talking to Martin more. And eventually we started bouncing ideas off of each other, and I invited him to the meeting that we get together. And eventually that balloon idea warped into a 3D printed concept where we combined the balloon concept with his vase, and it started out as this guy right here. That white one right there.
Yeah.
It looks great from where we can see it, but it's rough. But that's balloon 1.
Nice. It's always good to have that first one, right? You get to see the progression. Yeah, for sure. And everybody's first one of something is always kind of terrible. Like that's how it is.
Yeah, that guy is rough, but he still stays there, and will eventually become part of the big cloud structure that I'm working on for the second version of the cloud.
Nice.
But since then, Martin and I have become great friends, and we've been bouncing ideas off each other, making variations of the balloons. Last like October, my mom wanted one for as a Christmas ornament, and that is how the small one spawned.
Nice.
A lot more challenges to overcome than just buying a bunch of off-the-shelf parts and 3D printing what's basically a case for it.
Yeah.
But Martin was able to overcome a lot of those challenges, and I was able to get the 3D printing process refined and grow my print farm up to 3 functioning printers now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And he made like the teeny tiny little LED ring here, right? Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. We made an initial batch of like 400 or 500 and split the batch. And
Nice.
I've been a terrible salesman. It's really hard for me. I get excited, and then other people get excited, like especially like those kids at the Maker Faire. Like it's hard for me to even think about asking for anything. I'm just like, yeah, that was great. That was a great experience. Like, here's your balloon. Like, have a good day.
Oh, we have a comment. Wow, that's a lot of balloons. Yes, it is. It's a good. It's
a lot more than that too. They're everywhere. I'm always buying new filament and experimenting.
Wow, what filament is that? That's really beautiful.
I feel bad. I'm not going to be able to recall. Let's see.
Ooh.
Grat kit. Normally, I wouldn't use this one, but I was just experimenting with it. It's got a cool blend of colors.
Yeah.
The Quantum is usually the better split color filament. And then let's see. Polyterra is great. Yeah, if anybody ever has questions about filament, just let me know. I've gone through the litany of them.
We just organized our filament today, and it was, yeah, I found a lot of spools of like black and white filament that I didn't know I had. And I was like, oh, yeah, I just bought white filament because I didn't think I had white filament, but I had like 3 spools of white filament.
Yeah. I've got like 4 of them now too. I do that too. It happens.
It does. It does. I need to get some of the fancy colors though. We did get a really cool silk PLA that changes. It's more of like a rainbow fading. It changes colors throughout the spool and then repeats. And that one's pretty cool, but it's not the it's like not the prismatic type that the Quantum is, where it's like 2 colors all the way through and it changes depending upon what angle you're looking at it. That stuff is pretty neat.
Yeah, the Quantum is really, really good. The balloon I am using today is a very similar filament. It almost looks like Filamentum Wizard Voodoo, but it's not. It's I want to say Flash Forge. Let's see. Yeah, it's Flash Forge. It's burnt titanium.
Ooh, interesting.
That was terrible. Where is, so this basket is Wizard Voodoo.
Interesting. So it's like it looks black, but then it gets, where it's shiny, it looks like it's sort of like a greeny, bluey purple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's a slightly lighter color than the Voodoo, but
cool.
Voodoo is a great one. That's one of my go-tos.
Nice.
And then I've been experimenting with some transparent black lately. These guys have been
interesting. So do you find that the transparent ones kind of that they kind of channel the light through the filament, through the balloon itself a little bit?
Yeah, the whole thing ends up working like a diffuser.
Yeah.
It's a tough balance. Like these white ones, it's almost too much, and it almost washes out the whole balloon and turns it into like just a mess of a wash of color. So the translucent, like black, and like here's a gray.
Oh,
Like
nice.
smoke gray.
So it has to have like a little bit of opacity to it so that the colors like stay in their lanes a little bit.
Yeah, and I will usually increase the infill on the basket for that reason too, to try to eat up some of the light.
Nice.
But opaque balloons have a totally different look to them.
Yeah.
Like I've had some of my buddies come over and they've put together opaque balloons, and then they're like, I don't like it. And I've also had people put together the completely translucent ones, and I'm like, that's fine. You can have the other one, but like that is too transparent. Really, it'll turn into just a wash of colors. So
They'll just
there's
kind
a
of all
balancing act.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Cool though. It's it must be fun to experiment with the different colors and effects that you can get out of filament and color and translucency and yeah. And so you're using
3D printing is a great rabbit hole. Like I was watching tips on 3D printing over the weekend, and somebody mentioned really casually that converting to an STL file converts the object into tessellated triangles, which is not good for round objects.
Right. Yeah.
And he just like casually drops that with like 10 other tips, and I just pause the video and I'm like, I've been doing this. I've been doing this wrong the whole time. Like, so I reached out to Martin, and I'm like, Martin, I gotta figure this out. And this is the first steps towards that, and it prints much cleaner.
Interesting.
It's really cool.
So what is the process then?
I gotta throw everything out.
What is the process if you're not using an STL file? What kind of file type are you slicing?
It's a step file.
Oh, step file. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That does make a lot of sense. Huh, cool.
Only if you know it.
Right? And then you're using side emitting fiber optic in order to channel the light. And so I was looking at these and I was like, oh, is this how they work? It seems like they have a hollow core that's that I'm guessing. So I'm guessing that there's like a little bit of texture to the inner surface of that. And so as the light goes through the fiber optics, that's why it diffuses out the sides.
Well,
I'm guessing.
If you can obviously tell that one of those is more hollow than try to not use that one and just throw it away. There should be extra. I should have given you like 10 or 12 of them. No. It should be a fairly solid core piece of fiber optic.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I'm going to look under the microscope here and see what I can see. I might just be seeing it reflected off of the cut. Oh yeah, I was totally seeing it reflected off of the cut.
But getting good quality fiber optic is hard. This supplier has been good. Yeah. I've gone through like 5 or 6 suppliers at this point. Yeah, I've had variances of over 50% on like a 3 or 4 millimeter fiber optic, where it drops all the way down to like 0.5 millimeter.
Yeah, interesting.
Not so good.
Do you know how the side emitting fiber optic is different from like standard that really just it basically just goes in one end and it doesn't emit out the side at all, just goes straight to the other end? Which, if you're using fiber optic for communication, of course, that's what you want.
Not so good. Yeah. I presume it's just a roughed up piece of PMMA. Where the problems are whatever it uses to be extruded, and quality control might not be the best. And when you're press fitting all of those fiber optic into the channels, you're kind of dependent upon them being consistent.
Right. Yeah. Interesting.
But yeah, that's usually the big hurdle for most people is the fiber optics, because you want to be gentle. You ideally want to use your finger. I've gone through and mostly got this guy done already. But the way that I do is I'll take the fiber optic, weight this down, and starting up at the top, give it a little bit of slack, and just start pushing it into the top part of the channel, and it should click into place. It might stick out in a couple of spots, but it might not. You might be able to get the whole thing pushed in without any additional aid, like that guy. But you usually want to take a screwdriver and take the back end of the screwdriver.
Yeah.
And very gently, and you got to very gently do this because you can kill the fiber optic if you're too aggressive.
Okay.
But there's a bit of a technique to it, and you just keep pushing it into the channel.
Oh yeah.
And then you want to take some clippies and lay it flat across the top of the balloon, and clip the fiber optic off and into your keyboard, and then take the flat part of the screwdriver and kind of tuck it into the top part of the channel.
Got it. I think I kind of started mine at the very top, and so I don't really have any sticking out on this one. Hopefully I haven't mushed this fiber optic too much. We'll find out. We'll find out, right?
You just kind of continue that along the rest of the balloon. I got one left to do.
All right. So while I'm putting fiber optic in, tell me, so you have a STEM related job, and how did you get into doing STEM stuff in the first place? How did you get to, what you're doing today?
So for a living, I work in the security industry as a engineer for one of the Chinese manufacturers, and I've been doing this for more than 10 years now, and I love that job, and pretty good at it. And but at the end of the day, it doesn't result in anything looking very pretty. And
it's true. You have unrequited creative angst, right?
Yeah, and I really wanted to make something that was prettier than putting up security cameras. Like it serves a purpose, and it's very functional, but at the end of the day, even when you do your best work, it's not going to be very pretty. So
well, it seems maybe there's a market there, JP. Security.
I don't know about that, but I just wanted to make something that looked a little bit prettier than what it I do for a living, and I've acquired a lot of skills along the way that are easily transferable. I got started with Raspberry Pis and things like that, and they're a great building block. I've bought a lot of guys that have worked for me Raspberry Pis because you can infer from the behavior of a Raspberry Pi a lot of similar problems and issues and methodology for troubleshooting with cameras and other devices that are using similar chipsets. Without getting myself into trouble. But they're a great set of building blocks if you can get your hands on them now. Back in my day, they were $10 or $15, depending on which one you were getting at Micro Center. But nowadays they're a little bit more, unless you can find them. And eventually got hooked on Arduinos, ESP82 66s and later 32s. They're great, and they're a fairly consequence-free way to learn how to do things that they transition into the real world with like industrial application and other things like that. Almost 1-1. I mean, it's really easy to. I mean, G code is used in a lot more places than 3D printers.
Right? Yeah. That's funny. How did you get into security and computers and stuff like that in the first place? Did you just kind of always grow up around computers and using computers, and you knew that you wanted to do something technical from when you were young, or were you like kind of introduced to tech at some point in your life and then went from there?
No, I've always been around computers. I've always loved computers. I had my own phone line when I was a kid because I was tying up the phone lines all the time on my my modems.
Yep.
So I've got 2 or 3 Apple IIs, a couple of Commodores over my storage. I've always loved computers.
Cool.
They're a great way to build all kinds of cool stuff.
Cool.
How you doing on that? I cheated. I did like all of them except 2 before. Sorry.
Yeah, that would have been smart. One of them I'm having trouble with. It's like this one isn't wanting to stay in, so I might just try a different piece of fiber optic in that one. But I got like 4-ish done, so almost halfway there. Kind of halfway there. Not too bad.
Another fun little extra cheaty step that I like to do is because I have lots of extra fiber optic.
Mm-hmm.
I will take a drill bit that's about the same size as the fiber optic after the print's done, and just run it through by hand, and then take leftover fiber optic chunks to test and make sure everything fits in, because you don't want to
in the basket.
You don't want to be fighting the filament on this side, but you still want some tension. Ideally, there should be enough tension from the fiber optic to just hold the basket in place. If it slips off, you can attach some glue. Yeah, that was like a whole long series of test prints trying to figure out what layer height to print the basket at, so that it would have enough tension on the fiber optics. But if I print this at the wrong layer height, the channels become too slick.
Okay. Ooh,
and then some filament is just too slick too. But by now you should have an extra piece of fiber optic filament that you can double check all the holes in the basket are good. I think I might have checked.
Maybe I'll try that. Maybe I'll do that right now. Let's see. That one's good. So there's like 8 holes. Is that correct? Yes.
Yep. Yeah, I just take a little drill bit.
5, 6, 7, 8. I'm just doing 2 more just to make sure. Yep, these are all good.
Yeah, you don't want to fight that thing. Don't want to fight that thing after you've threaded the balloon itself.
Okay, let's see. Only got 2 more to do, I think, or maybe 3 if I end up redoing that one.
There is a little bit of super glue required.
Okay.
When you attach the holder for the Xiao, you need to put a little bit of glue on it.
So tell me about so you started off just kind of doing these balloons for yourself, and then you would kind of give them to other makers who had helped you and things like that. And along the way, you got some questions about like, hey, like, are you doing this as a kit? Can I buy one? Stuff like that. What?
Yeah, there's been but initially I was just using them as like my hippie balloons. My entire premise of because I was like, well, I didn't really make this, so like it might have been part of my idea, but I can't just. Martin created the object, so I figured I would just make them, and I would use it as a way to meet other makers, and if they posted cool stuff on Twitter, I would reach out to them and message them and start talking to them. And I would offer to buy their project if they were willing to sell me one, or if they liked my balloons, we could trade projects and I'll make you a balloon.
I love it. Balloon currency.
And it worked. It worked every time, actually. The response was amazing. And I felt like I had finally found my people. And everybody, was so willing to help share knowledge and information, and it's just been a wonderful experience. And the balloons were used to as a vehicle for me to meet new people and grow my skill set and get some cool lights along the way.
Right. Nice.
Yeah, it started out like that, and then if I could get my act together and actually sell kits, the original goal was to get Martin to SuperCon this coming year. I don't know. I would have to sell a ton of balloons in order to make that happen. I do have some. I've got a few kits ready to go.
Nice, yeah.
But I would have to be cranking out balloons from here until SuperCon. Because I don't want them to be too expensive to where people can't buy them. And I mean, you can make them. Besides the LED ring, you can source all the other material. The medium and large balloons you can buy with off-the-shelf parts. They just use your standard LED rings. They're nothing special or custom. The smallest ones are, though.
Cool. So what part should I do?
And those will be available on Alpenglobe sometime soon, maybe.
Right? They might be. So, okay, I'm going to ask you more questions about the kit and selling. But what part should I do next? Should I solder the connectors to the Xiao? And this is a Xiao NRF.
You could do that. So it's going to use the. You're going to start with the ground. So with the USB facing down towards you, you're gonna want to use, starting with ground, and then we're going to use the 3-volt and pin 10 right above it.
Okay. Let me turn it upside down so we can. Let's do it. Okay, so.
And then we want to take the
10,
female 3 pin. And wire that up.
Cool.
Need a macro lens camera.
Put that in a little bit and do some soldering. Is there a preferred side that the wires should be on? Like, does the back need to be like perfectly flat and the wires should be on the front? Or
you want to go from the top. So
okay. Cool.
Yeah, so double, triple check. Check a million times, but you start with ground on the second pin.
Got it. So you have ground, 3.3 volts, and pin 10 all in a row there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And these can go. I mean, they really can go on either side. You can do them either way. It doesn't make that much of a difference.
Okay.
If you want it to sit flush on the holder, then go from the top.
Go from the top. All right. So I'm gonna stick these through, bend them over, and that's ground. And 3.3 volts is next, which I'm using red for, of course. And then pin 10, and those all over. is what mine is looking like.
So you're gonna go. I'm going black, and then
red, then yellow.
Yep.
Yep. That is what makes sense to me as well. And I'm just kind of bending these over with my fingers.
So little pro tip: if you're ever buying JST connectors, don't assume that JST connectors are all wired the same. If you buy from multiple manufacturers, you might be in for a surprise there.
Interesting. And I just
took me a second to figure out. I was like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah. Yep. I could definitely see how that could how that might ruin your day. All right. I have to thread mine through again because I fluxed the back of the pads and they all came out. Probably should have fluxed it first. That's okay. That is okay. All right. Ground.
I'm gonna clip mine so everything is nice and clean.
Nice. Might squish mine over with some pliers here just to, I don't know if I have some pliers. Maybe I'll squish mine over with a screwdriver. Just so that they stay in place a little bit more while I'm doing all of this. They were staying in place really well that first time, and then I messed it all up. There we go. Now they're hooked in. Now we're cooking with gas.
Yeah, my camera sucks real bad, but even though my camera sucks, you can see that they don't look that bad. Those are pretty good points.
Nice.
We'll see if it works in a bit. So I have taken to using e-cig batteries. So I've got friends that will find these e-cig batteries. These guys and these guys, and these guys have all kinds of goodies in them. I love these things. These guys have. You need a USB-C charger with a voltage regulator. Oh
nice.
Yeah, those are expensive. They're getting cheaper, but if you just need something to charge something using a USB-C cable, man. And then you get a 600 mAh battery usually, which will power these balloons for like 8 to 12 hours.
Oh wow, nice.
They work great.
Nice.
And I mean, you're taking e-waste and putting it to good use. So
I was just gonna say, I think like aren't a lot of those marketed as like single use, which like kind of boggles my mind.
Yep.
It's crazy.
I've got one right here that I'm attaching the leads to, and this one is 500 mAh.
Nice. All right. And let's see, I'm gonna attach okay. So battery connector, sorry, I'm lagging here. So battery should now go to the, there we go. Bat plus and bat minus are the two flat pads here.
Yep.
Yeah, got it. Got it. I haven't worked with a Xiao before, so this is fun. I get to learn a little bit about a new microcontroller.
They're great. I've ordered so many of these things now at this point.
Do you have a favorite place that you like getting them from?
For those, directly from them.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're ordering more than 10, you can get deals. Nice.
Good to know. Okay, so I promised to ask you more questions about the whole kit thing. So you went from, so you're now developing this kit, maybe to sell.
Maybe.
Yeah, so tell me about the differences in how you're thinking about this compared to just a balloon that you were making on your own to, for yourself or to trade.
The cost to produce the motherboards just got me willing to accept the idea of charging for them. Like I never got into any of this to make money. Which, like, I feel bad because I try to behave with our friends, because I know you guys are all like, a lot of you are trying to work on like making a kick-ass product. So it's like, I don't want to detract from any of that with my nonsense. Like, this jackass is just giving shit away. Like,
That's okay. You're allowed to do what you want.
yeah, but I mean,
but no, I do appreciate the fact that you want to price something appropriately, right? Because that's
yeah, and I mean, unless I can write it off on taxes appropriately.
Yeah.
Either one's fine with me, but it's got to be one or the other.
Yeah.
So I tin all the pads on the LED ring first.
Cool. I tend to, I don't know, I tend to flux and then just solder it with like a blob from the iron, which sometimes works well, sometimes doesn't work well, but I don't know, that's, for some reason, that's my go-to method that I tend to do first. There's really no right or wrong as long as you have a good solder joint in the end.
Yep. And I normally start out with I do DIN. If you have the voltage 5 volt and ground facing down towards you, and D in and D out above you.
Above, yeah, that's how I did
then
that.
have it coming from the opposite side of D out, and start with the D in, and then move over to the other two.
Yeah, that is what I did. Hey, Jason, how's it going? Thanks for joining. Woohoo! You actually got to the part where you joined us perfectly for the part that we're soldering on the actual solder sesh. Amazing. All right.
Hey, Jason. You missed me, all the nice things I was saying about you. And then come from the other side for
this guy
5 volt.
Just to make that, I feel like that solder joint could be better. Ow, yay. Ooh, melted the insulation a little bit on that one. That'll be good.
Yeah, and Jason and Deborah's projects along the way have given me a lot more confidence in my builds. Like, man, there's stuff that I volunteered to make, and afterwards I've just sat there looking at all the parts going, how the hell am I going to do this? Never mind the fact that I volunteered before the instructions were written, so like, right. I can't even really, like, I don't want to even bug them. I'm like, I got to figure this out, man. But the suffering has been worth it, definitely. Like, I hate CircuitPython, and you should not learn CircuitPython from me. Like, if you get attracted to it because of me, that's great, but don't ask me for any input. There's other people that are far more skilled at that than me.
I'm still getting my CircuitPython learn on, so I feel you there.
But it's fun and it's quick. Like, you can manipulate the code and do it fairly consequence free. And the way Deborah had organized those files was perfect, because I mean, you could just copy and paste existing sets of script and then manipulate those, and you just add another line of text referring to the new copy of the file that you made, and you're good to go. You make a mistake, delete it, start over. It works like a thumb drive with text files. Like, it's great.
Yeah, totally. Oh, right, this way. That way? Maybe.
So at the end, you should have.
Right. Oh, yeah. Okay, I see that has to be this way. I might have soldered them on the wrong side. Oh, well. I did. Totally
that's
did.
My first.
I soldered two of them on the wrong side. Damn it.
That's my first live on the internet soldering, and I did it.
Check that out. All right. So yes. So now we're in the well, let's see. Do I want to move those around? I'm gonna. Oh no, you can't move the battery ones around. The battery has to be on the bottom. Got it. Okay. So I think I did it right. Okay. So the next
battery has to be on the bottom. The light can be on either side. It doesn't really
right.
Oh, don't forget to tin your tip before you turn off the soldering iron.
I know. Did I do that? I did. Yeah. Okay. So now we want to program the Xiao, and we'll put some links in the description too to the files.
Yeah, I cheated. Mine was already done. I did that ahead of time because you could you could honestly turn the CircuitPython portion of things into its own lesson in and of itself. But you still got a couple of steps left on the balloon. You want to take these two pieces, so the holder,
okay, yeah,
and the top, and in the notches where for the holder, you first want to slot those in and make sure they fit, so that
yeah, let me trim my
just these two pieces. So
got it.
Slot the flat part into the top. Make sure I remove the two little supports in that spot. But basically, you just want to make sure it slots in there, because the next step is to apply glue to the little step.
Okay, how should the slots are with the USB cable part down?
The opening,
yeah.
The opening should face towards the top, so that you should end up with the holder giving you more room, because ultimately what will happen is you'll slot a USB-C into the top to charge the balloon.
Okay, so the top is the round section. Okay, and so here, let me
grab another one.
Zoom a little bit. Make this bigger, maybe.
So here's an untested print.
Cool. Yeah. Okay.
And this guy, so the side that has more space.
Yes.
The tray faces up. Yeah.
I think. So do I have this right? Like this?
Yeah, that looks right. So if you put the seat in there, it would look like this.
Should it? Yeah, I think so. That goes in.
If you want to test it, you grab a USB and slot it in through the top, and you can double check it.
Where do you kind of run your battery wires?
Straight down.
Straight down, like exiting out the USB side?
There's two little slots towards the bottom of the tray.
Oh, I see. Got it. So you do it kind of like that.
So that guy will slot into the top with and this is actually how you want to do it. So you want to super glue the corners of that bed, so that like the little top part of this tray that clicks into the topper of the balloon, that's where you want to put a dab of super glue.
Okay, hang on a second.
After you slot them in and make sure they fit, because you don't want to fight the thing while it's full of super glue, unless you want to be permanently attached to it. Choice is yours. I don't like the balloon. I don't like balloons that much though.
That goes. I like balloons, but I do like to be apart from them.
I don't want to become them.
Yes. So I have a question about these two pieces. So, okay, does that look right in terms of how the Xiao is in?
Yeah, that looks about right.
Cool. Okay. This piece though should be.
This is how mine looks right now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And so.
And then after the bed, after you apply the super glue to the bed,
mm-hmm.
You can go and breathe on it. Someone online told me that makes it dry faster. I don't know if they're lying, but I do it anyway.
I don't know. I always blow on super glue.
Okay, you can get that to dry faster, and then after you get the cables where you want, and you've got everything lined up on.
Got to back up because I'm still at this step where I don't think the Xiao is necessarily slotting in very well. So it can't be that way because then the USB would be. So it has to be this way. So the USB is kind of like in the middle there. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But. Okay, it should be slotting in, but you can see like there's like a little bit of a gap there. Like
yeah, so just remove the seed. The Arduino's fine. Just you gotta smash those things into the little tabbies. Like just push it in. But you can remove the seed while you're doing it.
Okay. The seed's actually fine, I think. It gives me something to. Yeah, I think I need to scrape this one just a little bit with an X-Acto because it seems to be just a little bit too narrow. So I'm just going to do that. Hopefully it won't screw it up too bad.
Yeah, that should be fine. Or a file.
Yeah.
A small file.
We have files, but I don't have one on at the desk. I'm just going to do the same thing over here. Okay.
But this is why we're doing it right now, like this, versus making the situation worse with super glue. Ask me how I know.
Oh, I see. I think there might have been like a tiny bit of support material still in there. Okay. Let me see that. Now, oh yeah, I think that I think it'll go now.
It should completely bottom out.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I think yeah.
And then take the tray and the seed out.
I have to take it back out now that I've gotten it in.
We're taking it completely apart, actually.
Okay, cool. So got that, and take the seed out. Oh, I really had this one in good.
And you want to make sure you take the LED ring and loop it through the center.
Ooh, yes, LED ring.
Because it loops up. Because your ring. Your run for the LED ring goes up.
Got
so
it.
You loop it through the center, and then just gently pull it up.
Yeah.
And push down each of the wires so that they're flush.
Okay. So so this is right. So that's going like that. That makes sense. So this is the way that looks with the ring with them coming out here.
Yeah, okay. You got that.
Don't I want to program it just to test my LEDs though first? At this point, maybe?
Yeah, you should be good to go at this point. You should be able to give it power through USB-C and have it power up.
Yeah, so let's do all of that. So
I'm gonna secure my seed to the top of this. So I'm just gonna take some super glue.
Okay.
And
got it. Yeah, I see what you're doing. But what if I fear commitment and don't want to super glue mine down?
Too bad. Especially if you got the seed from me. If you're using the seed from me for anything but a balloon, you owe me $10.
Okay.
But it doesn't sit in the tray 100% because the wires, but that will secure the seed into place. And then you just hold that down with these guys facing down towards the bottom. There's a little
got it. Yeah.
little place for them that helps it get down a little bit further. And at this point, you want to disconnect the LED ring.
Okay, hang on.
And I need to put my super glue away before it dries out.
All right, so I'm gonna program the Xiao. So there's this like tiny little button right there to the side of the USB connector
That you got to double tap.
Plug it in and you got double tap it. And then it will actually show up as a UF2 bootloader. And I'm gonna see about sharing my screen right now. Let's see, share screen. Okay, and so basically, so we have the Xiao Circuit Python file that we'll drag over,
and that will turn the DAO into a Circuit Python.
Cool.
And then there's you can go to my GitHub and download the zip file from there that I basically spaghetti code from Deborah's SuperCon headband that we made at SuperCon, which is functional. Some of them use a different pinout. Some are using pinout 4 versus 10. I used a different pin on the Sense version of them. You can use either version of the NRF. You can use the one with the accelerometer or without. For most of them, I'm not using the one with the accelerometer. There's a couple of advanced patterns that utilize that, and there's also a Bluetooth app if you wanted to change the patterns through that. None of which I made. Some of the pretty rainbow patterns I made following CircuitPython tutorials, but the really cool stuff like the mobile app and stuff like that is from Deborah's SuperCon presentation. So cool. If you want to go down that rabbit hole, you could play with it and change the patterns from your phone and do all kinds of stuff, or shake it and have that change the pattern if you're using the one with the accelerometer. Nice. All kinds of cool stuff you can do.
Nice. Okay,
so after you copy that file, the drive will disappear. The first time I did it, I was like, "What happened? Why did it just disappear? Did I break it?" And then it'll reappear with a different name.
Circuit Pi.
And you want to just take that zip file from my GitHub and copy all of that over.
All of this over, and overwrite the existing library folder and everything. Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Just doing that.
And I won't go completely down the rabbit hole, but once it transfers over, click on main.py and open that up, please.
Cool, will do.
And I'll just kind of explain what we're looking at real quick. As best I mean, again, don't go learn CircuitPython from somebody that knows this way better than I do. But I can make functional LEDs. And that's about the extent of my Python. Maybe some web servers. Replace files.
Files.
And then scroll down.
And main.py?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Hang on. We gotta open with. We'll open it.
Notepad or something like that.
With Atom, which has sadly been deprecated. Oh, hey, come back here. There we go. Okay.
Go back to the folder. Not main. It's probably
no worries.
Code.py.
Code.py. Cool. There we go.
All right. So this points to the demo folder, and then it tells that it says that it's going to run Rainbow Chase. So
yeah,
let's go back to the folder, folders, and we want to double click on the scroll up and go to the demo folder.
Demos.
And
Rainbow Chase.
Yeah, Rainbow Chase. You can go ahead and open that up. Okay. And we'll modify it with I prefer Notepad++ at this point.
Yeah.
Whatever flavor of whatever you want. Scroll down a little bit. So we see the board pin is using is D10, which is the one right above the 3-volt rail. So that matches up with what we want. Cool. All that is good. Yep. You can play with this code and manipulate it however you want, based on however well you know Python. You can go ahead and close it, and if you go back, if you're scared you're going to mess something up, you could always just copy rainbowchase.py and name it test, and then you go back to the root and open up the code.py and just copy and paste that one of those lines and hash it out.
Yep.
And add test instead of rainbow chase.py, and you can run your own code right off the balloon.
Cool.
And that's the limit of what I know about Python. Don't ask me anything beyond that.
And that has been the Python. Whoa, holy shit. I didn't even I wasn't even paying attention to the actual board on the workbench, which is
I saw it.
Indeed. Running the code we just put on it. Hey!
Now take it all apart.
Now take it all apart. Okay.
Yeah, now we got to lace up the balloon.
Yeah, all right. And okay. Should I? Yeah, okay. And I also have to cut off the tops here, right? Of my fiber optic.
I usually do those as I go. But
you do this
start out. Yeah. I usually do those as I go. Lay it flat across the top. Sorry. Lay it. So like here, let me grab a different.
Should I be doing like here, like this?
Yeah. So I try to get it flat across the top.
So it's flat. Okay, got it.
I need to get a better camera. I will. I promise.
It's okay.
Can you just gently pull one fiber optic back and thread the balloon like that?
Oh, got it. Yep, at the bottom. Okay.
And then you want to take a small flathead screwdriver, and you just kind of push the end of the fiber optic into the side of the very top part of the channel to kind of lock it into place. Okay. If you've got really slick fiber optic, or you got really slick filament that you used, you could resort to gluing it, but ideally everything should fit together with tension. Besides the holder, you have to use super glue because you're putting so much additional pressure on the print from the USB connection.
So now I can see how this part is slightly tricky.
Yes, you start with lacing up one.
Okay.
And then you pull one of the adjacent ones. Yeah, you have to you got to make sure you spec enough dexterity. It's super important. And if you bend the fiber optic too much and torque on them too hard, you're gonna destroy them. So you got to be gentle with these guys.
I'm not sure I was all that gentle in getting them into the channels, so we'll see how well or poorly mine works. I might need to be getting some more fiber optic. Where do you get the side emitting fiber optic? Is that something that you can easily get off of like Amazon or anywhere or AliExpress? Or
I wouldn't buy from the people on Amazon.
Okay.
I can send you a link to the AliExpress seller that is reputable, and that is what it should look like at the end.
Oh, nice. I'm almost there.
And you just slide it down. You might have to pull some of these through. Ideally, you need to pull some of these through because that means you have enough tension on it.
That one and the last one.
This process right here of pushing them down on the fiber optic,
yeah,
is way more difficult on the big one. I have to put my chin on the top of the balloon and like bear hug it, and then I have to hold the lower portion, or they pop out on the lower portion, and then with my last hand I have to grab the basket and push it, and then I have to stop, and then they bow out a little bit on some of them. But those ones are important because they're going to hold the basket.
Yeah.
So you can't be like, screw you, dude. No, you got to keep those in good shape because they're going to be important. They're going to be what you don't need. Why you don't need glue.
Oh, son of a bitch! Did I screwed this? I totally screwed this up, didn't I?
Do it upside down.
I think I totally did it.
Yeah, it's okay.
Well, wait.
Did you do the basket upside down?
So I put the basket in upside down. Yeah, because the board has to be on the very bottom.
That's good. That gives me time to take a restroom break while you fix that. But yeah, mine is almost done. I'll be right back.
All right. All right. I am almost done with this. Again. It's a little tricky. To thread. Aha, there we go. Okay. Oh, yeah, that fits better too. Okay. Cool.
All right, you ready?
I think so. All right.
All right. So this part you got to be careful. What you want to do is you want to lay the balloon upside down.
Okay. Yep.
And you want to kind of ballpark where you want it.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be really specific about it, let's see. I'm going to be about 18 to 20 millimeters up. If you want to go higher, you can.
Oh, I'm at like 12 millimeters. Is that okay?
If you want it to be a little bit shorter, I like the legs on them to be a little bit longer, but it's up to you. It's personal preference.
All right.
If you've got a really loose fitting basket, it's better to move it up closer towards the top. It'll hold a little bit better. But if it's got a decent enough fit, you can put it wherever you want. Right. You're gonna need to pull it away from the top of the basket a little bit to put the LED ring in. So after you get the basket level,
right. Okay.
You're gonna take the clip B's.
Right. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And very carefully lay it flat across the top.
Yep.
And snip each fiber optic. Be careful not to push down on the basket while you do this. Again,
right. Because
hope you spec enough dexterity. Because otherwise you're going to end up with uneven fiber optic, and it won't sit properly against the LED ring. And that gives you your extra fiber optic pieces to test if you wanted to test the next basket. This order avoids
Okay.
the opportunity for you to potentially cut cables or something like that.
Yeah, no, that's a good plan. All right, now I assume I stick the connector through.
So from the top of the balloon, you flip it back
Yeah.
over. You can disconnect the battery or leave the battery connected. I'm going to disconnect it for the sake of this. And I loop the battery connection up through the top for right now, just for the sake of keeping it out of my way.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And
I didn't glue all these together yet again. Hang on, let's see. I just want to do that. Okay.
There we go.
Do I really have to glue the Xiao in place?
I mean, if you want to be able to disconnect it and reconnect it, yeah.
Can I cheat and just wrap Kapton tape around it? Oh.
I'll give you one if you want.
No, that's fine.
I've given away hundreds of them at this point. It's all good. And then you should have the battery left to reconnect. Let's get this guy put in.
Here, Robin, can you grab some Kapton tape? Yes. Awesome.
Boo.
Ah, I'm doing it.
You're not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to charge the battery, but that's okay.
Yeah, I will. I think. Why wouldn't I be able to?
I mean, if you leave it permanently connected to the USB cable you're giving it, then yeah, you're right. You could.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. Oh, we popped the ring out.
That's the bottom. That goes over that. Yes, please.
I can't wait for Martin to see this video and be like, I've never thought of doing it in that order. And be like, what? I've been assembling it wrong this whole time.
Hey, if it works, I don't think it's wrong.
Oh, the way that we developed these was great fun. I would use ugly, horrible caveman. Like I drilled a piece of filament into this prototype through this thing had like a unicorn horn that stuck down. And then I drilled into the top of the balloon and I'm like this. And he's like, that's horrible. I'm like, it's functional, but yeah, it is. It's terrible. It's ugly caveman, but it works. Like now let's figure out where to take that so that it's not ugly caveman. And we've been able to figure it out. It's been a great teamwork effort.
Nice.
Working on projects with him. Same with Jason. Jason's coming out with a couple of new things that I can't wait to see.
Yeah. So, okay. So now, okay. So I have this guy in here like that. Yeah.
And you should be able to push it in and then
just snapped right in.
Yeah. And there's a balloon tool you can print if you want. And that balloon tool will allow you to unscrew and screw it back on. Mine doesn't quite pop in, but.
And so this little connector fished through like that. Yeah. And then now I get to connect the ring, right? Oh, don't freaking come out. Okay. That was almost a disaster. Almost rid the basket.
There's been balloons that I've gotten overzealous with the legs and I've made them too long and I've had to hold that thing with tweezers and connect the two. Yeah, it could be a little bit of a struggle, but
okay. So, all right. So those are in there now. Okay. And so now I get to install the LED ring, right?
Yep. And that should click into place don't with the mouse bites. So if you get one, resist the urge to file off the mouse bites.
Ah, nice. All those OCD people. It's a part of the thing.
Me too. It's part of the learning process. But yeah,
so I'm
like
carefully moving it so that all of my fiber optics are kind of flush there.
Yeah, I mean, once you push the ring in, the fiber optics will light up real bright. Like they're
cool.
It's night and day between it being slightly off and them lining up. Like,
nice.
I like to have the battery pack connected sometimes when I'm doing it just to double check. But
yeah, I don't have a battery, so it's just, you know, I'm just USB-ing it for now. But yeah, I think that clicked in, and I'm pushed all the way against the fiber optics.
And the other thing to keep in mind is the opacity of the filament, or the translucency of the filament. Like your balloon, the end result of it will be very different because this is a very thick, dark filament.
Right.
And the one you made is a little bit more translucent.
Nice. And then this bottom just snaps on, yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. I want to get this connector out of the way, though. Go away, little battery connector. Get out of here. Get out of here. Oh, now you're sticking out. Pissing me off. All right, there we go. Cool.
That's better.
Awesome. Okay. So we shall see. Dun, 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 dun. Oh.
Gee.
Tape held. What just? No. Well, no. It's just look.
So now you gotta hold the Xiao while you're plugging in. Yeah.
In the
secure it. And it looks like the fiber optic is
maybe getting in the way.
Well, yeah, you could just leave that like that.
Snapped in before.
Once it snaps into place, counterclockwise, just a little bit twist.
Yeah, I think I do need to. Yeah, I think I do need to glue the right angle in together. Sorry, I'm just trying to do this.
The Xiao holder plus the the top.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. No. You.
It was in there really good. I thought it was going to be enough, but
there's a link to the printables, and then
apparently
eventually I'm gonna get the instructions for the balloons posted, or I'm just going to take this video and embed it on that page. That's probably what I'm gonna end up doing. But
right.
There are pictures documenting the whole process, and there will now be video as well.
There we go. I just don't want to.
You don't have to go crazy with the super glue either, just a little bit.
No, yeah, there we go. I just wanted to pull it out without see, this is why
I should probably post the littlest balloons too. These little guys. If anybody else wants to make earrings.
Oh Jesus, I'm gonna get this all over my fingers. I'm already sticking to shit. Okay.
You see these, Carrie?
Hang on. I'm trying not to glue myself to the balloon. Oh, the earrings?
Yeah. I made super small balloons. They're so tiny. They're like the size of my thumbnail.
Oh my God. Do they actually have fiber optics in them, or they're just going to have an LED? Yeah.
No, I bought stud earrings, but they're really heavy. So I gotta, man, this is like crazy stuff. Like I gotta figure out how to balance the weight so that they're more comfortable to wear. Like some stuff I've never even thought about. Like I don't wear earrings. I don't care about earrings. But I bought the studs with the little LED, and my girlfriend said, "No, these are too heavy. Like they're gonna hurt." So I gotta redesign them. Maybe just shove it all inside of the balloon. We'll see. They're super small though. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But for now, I have non-light up one earrings that
there we go.
I could make or give away.
There we go. And twist.
You get it?
Got it in there. It's just not wanting to stay. Okay. All right. Now we'll see if the plug works or not. There we go. Haha. Okay. Hang on. Almost there. Almost there.
So if you got the LED pushed into the basket and it's not in the right spot, you can pull the basket towards the balloon and it'll push the LED ring back out.
Yeah.
Without putting stress on anything else.
I think as I was pushing on the top, and so I pushed the bottom off, essentially, I think. Okay. So there. Hang on a second. And then there. Come on. Okay. All right. I think that's good. Hang on. All right. I feel like I need less light in here.
Yeah.
What are these? We'll see. I also might have been a little too aggressive with my fiber optic setting in, I wonder. But let's see.
I will let you in on a secret. This balloon is not my first. But this one turned out pretty good.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah.
I definitely see it going up there. Yeah. All right.
But yeah, you got a lot of light going on.
The lights here in a second and see if we can get better. Out of the way. Get it better. Ooh. That's better. But yeah, my fiber optic is not fiber opticking. I'm just going. Oh, wait, there we go. Hey.
Yeah, there's a spot that when LED shifts into that spot, it lights up the LEDs totally different than.
Oh, you know what? I think I see what's happening. Hang on. I don't think my board is lined up properly. Hang on. Yeah. Okay. Totally.
Yeah. So, just rotate it one over until you get it.
Yeah. That was totally the issue. Hang on. Come on. Oh yeah. I can already tell this is better. So much better. Not sure. There we go.
Yeah, that's great.
Haha! Much better. Yeah. Oh, it's so cool.
That looks great.
It's like oh man, I wish you could see what I'm seeing here, but you can kind of see how it sort of reflects in the middle there. Like
it's
crazy.
It's like crack. You can adjust especially with translucent filament. Wow. I mean, I love it. And yeah, each filament, each density you're gonna get a different balloon, and you're gonna get a different amount of reflectiveness. Just don't print them in vase mode, because like you need to print them with one or two walls. They can be relatively thin, but if you print it in vase mode, you'll be like, yeah, this is perfect. And then you'll push in the first couple of fiber optic, but when you go to push in the ones on the other side, it won't have the structural integrity to hold them all into place, and it'll pop them out, and it's infuriating. Like these crystal balloons nearly killed me. Like, if you want to make me crazy, come over to my house and get anywhere near those things. Like, you could look at them, but don't you dare touch them. Like
Ah.
I wanted them to be road ready, but there's just no way. And those things, you look at them wrong, you breathe on them, and they'll pop out on one side or the other. And that's just like a super hybrid base mode that I had to develop to get the PETG to cooperate in the first place.
Oh, this looks great. I'm so stoked.
Yeah, I'm glad it turned out. You've got a great example balloon that gives you a mix of all of the best. Like a completely opaque balloon is not as cool as that, I don't think. And you've got the little one to complement the larger one.
Yeah. I just want to get this little connector back in. There we go.
And then if you want, you could always disconnect the NRF seed that you have and replace it with ESP.
Yep.
And then you could load that up with WLED from my GitHub repo.
Yep.
And then
I even have one of the ESPs right here.
And then you could sync them both up over Wi-Fi and have them match up, the patterns match up, and you configure whatever patterns you want.
Yay!
And great job. It turned out really great.
I think we're good with this lighting for now. We also it shows off Ben's rainbow in back very well.
Yeah, the LED, the lights look better. It's a little bit less clinical too. I think it's better.
No, this is cool. So one thing I noticed is that there's not really an on-off switch, huh?
No, I've experimented with a couple of options, even like 3 jumper pins sticking out of the top.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do it. You can make it super basic. Yeah. So the battery is not secured. It's just loose inside of the balloon.
That's fine though, honestly. Like,
because I've got so many different models of e-cigs that I'm using. Some of them are flat batteries. Some of them are round. Like we could manufacture a whole bunch of different battery holders to complement it, but it's fine. It's good enough.
Yeah.
I don't think a holder is necessary really.
Well, and if you're running it off of USB instead of the battery, then you can always get one of the USB cables with like an inline power switch too.
Yeah, I just really like the idea of having like that USB tree and being able to just pull them off and have them keep going. Like I think
it's kind of cool that it also serves as the hanging thing, so that like the cord also like kind of serves a functional purpose. It's not like a cord sticking out somewhere.
Yeah, it works. There's nothing extra. You don't need a chain or anything like that.
Yeah,
it works. It's a great design. I'm super happy with it.
No, that was cool. Thank you for sharing that with us.
No, thank you for inviting me. I'm super happy to be a part of solder session.
So are you definitely set on like someday you're going to get this kit ready and it's going to be for sale, or are you still thinking about like whether or not you want to sell the kits?
I mean, if there's enough interest, I would be happy to put together kits. I'd even be happy to put together kits with specific color options or splits.
Yeah.
Or if somebody wanted something a little bit more than that, like these are kind of the basic installations that you've got going on right now. But here, I'll show you the one I'm working on. This is going to be the new cloud.
Whoa, nice.
Yeah.
So that's basically a mesh frame that you're going to put like cottony fiber filler stuff around.
Yeah, so that guy's gonna have, it's gonna be a couple layers of polyfill, a couple of sheets of polyfill with some kind of spider web of LEDs.
Nice.
And that will hide all the wire mess. And I should be able to get, the original plan was to have 2 or 3 of the mid-sized balloons, but now with the big boy, I'm gonna probably I'm gonna have to redesign it. I modeled it all out, but I'm gonna probably have to rethink it because that thing it's just so big, and we're gonna be able to go about 25% larger than that with my new printer. So there's a bigger one coming.
Have you estimated how much filament that the max balloon would take?
It's hard to say because the first balloon took like 1.3 kilos, somewhere around there, and after we revised the second balloon, it was like 560 grams. So, I mean, you could try to estimate that it'd be like a 25% increase if we increase the size. But if the additional size results in needing additional structure to get it to print properly, then we're going to have to massage everything. So it'll probably be close to a kilo. So if there's any filament manufacturers out there that want to sponsor the Super XL balloon, let me know.
Nice. I wonder if the channels can be modified a little bit, like the channel shape, in order so that so you were saying that you were like killing your fingers on the large balloon on putting those in. And I'm wondering if they can be, I don't know, if you can mess with the, with the outline so that it would be a little bit easier to like snap those in. And like same here, I was having trouble on this one with like getting them to stay in, and I felt like I was like pretty hard on the fiber optics, although apparently I wasn't too hard because it all still works. But like, I wonder if there's a way to retain that a little better, where it takes a little bit less force to pop in, but once it pops in, it's like
it's a tough balancing act, just like with the basket. Like, so the basket, I went through the whole litany of testing where I went from drilling out baskets way more than they should have been, to like, there's no way the filament's going to get through the hole, and it's much better to have that tension. So if you're struggling to get the fiber optic in, basically when you're pushing the back end of the screwdriver, you've killed the fiber optic if it slips off of the fiber optic when you're doing it. It should be one stroke from the middle of the balloon all the way up to the top channel, and if you have to do that multiple times, it's gonna be less than ideal. But you make 4 or 5 of them, you'll get the technique down. It just takes a little bit. The big one, it's no mercy. It's 5mm fiber optic. It's gonna kick your ass no matter what.
Yeah, I'm just curious if the channel design could be modified so that there's like a little bit more flex in that in the plastic itself, so that it kind of so that it just like definitively snaps in, instead of kind of being more tensioned in, because that way you would put, I would think you would put less stress on the fiber optics.
It sounds like you want a side glow fiber optic manufacturer that manufactures at precise tolerances.
Oh, is that one of the problems with the that they're very
like with the large one, the fiber optic would go from 4.7 to 5.3.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So like some of those channels for the large one, I had to like snap the back wall in the channel to get it to fit into the channel. So it's a real tough balancing act, and the tolerances on side glow fiber optic are not good. So
interesting.
Even with the good manufacturers, like it's rough. So when I was talking to Martin about it yesterday, I was like, I don't think it's you, and I don't think it's me at this point. Like, there's no way you can make a model, or I could manipulate slicer settings that could account for that variance. But at a certain point, they're too wide and they don't hold. We've always tried to keep the design to not have glue in the channels because it doesn't work very well.
Yeah.
I could get away with it on the big one because I've got big, giant, fat channels. But
Yeah.
with the little guys, it should all be dialed in, and you should be able to push it all into the channels, which is why I've got boxes of reject balloons. Because I'll pull one off the printer and look at it and go, yeah, not going to work.
The channels just didn't come out right, or?
Yep. The channels sometimes are perfect, and sometimes you never get the fiber optic all the way in, but if you can get the rest of it to fit into the channel, that it'll hold it still.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be 100%, but
yeah,
ideally that's what you want to shoot for.
Yeah. Well, cool. Cool.
And the process is very similar for all of the other ones. Like the large one uses a D1 ESP, like the large one, the second smallest or the third smallest.
Yeah.
The mid-sized one. This one is the most user friendly.
Okay.
If you're familiar with setting up a basic WLED instance, this guy is going to be the easiest one to print, the most forgiving. It's going to take a little bit longer to print, but the mid-size one is probably your best option because it's all self-contained, and then you can just run a cable right out of the top.
Yeah.
And that slots in and holds the Arduino.
Yeah, nice.
And unlike the small one, the medium-sized one, you have the option of pushing them into the channels and holding them, or you can loop it over. So you have two LEDs blending into one fiber optic run, which they both have their merits. They're both good. Like this one is cut, and this one loops over the top. So you can kind of see it, and the bigger one loops over the top too.
Nice.
But they're all available on printables, except the super large one, because I'm still 100% into everything on that one. It'll be done soon. And the XL one will be next.
Nice. So do you have any other things other than balloons? Do you have like something else that you're thinking about doing? Or are you just like, no, man, I'm doing balloons. I still got balloon mojo.
Well, I mean, I did make the plaque for my sister.
That was good.
The text that literally says something else. She always asks if I'm working on something else. I don't think she likes the balloons very much, so whatever. The cloud is the next piece of the puzzle that I want to get done. So I'm gonna focus on getting version 2 of the cloud built out, and then kind of want to make a UFO.
Ooh, yeah.
Horizontal fiber optic is a fun challenge. I don't know how exactly to tackle it. But
ooh,
I think I'd like to see that. Last time I went to Area 15, I scouted out a location for a little balloon and where I can tap into their power. So I'm going to sneak a balloon into Area 15.
51?
15.
15? What is Area 15? I'm familiar with Area 51 being like the UFO.
Area 15 is an art installation. It's like a Burning Man art installation out in Las Vegas, and I get sent out to Vegas all the time for work. And
nice.
if I get some downtime, I will venture over to Area 15, which is my favorite place in Vegas, and it's just a cool art installation. And Omega Mart has all kinds of lights and just really cool. I don't even know how to describe it. It's something else. It's very cool. But I've been telling them on Twitter that I'm gonna sneak a balloon into Omega Mart, and I found power, so I just need to bring in the kit and
nice
distract the people there long enough to just plug it in, and it'll be good to go. Yeah, instead of going through the proper channels, I figure I'll just sneak it in.
Nice.
They'll probably leave it there too, maybe.
Why not?
But yeah, balloons have been the primary focus. I'm working on a go-kart. I found.
Oh.
If you see that I found like a Power Wheels AMG. in the dumpster. So I wanna make that freeway ready. I want to be able to take that thing and go like 65, 70. So I think like a 3,000 watt motor is adequate. I might need a little bit more, but I'd like to get the go-kart built. I mean, I bought a giant 3D printer, so I should probably figure out some kind of cosplay thing, right?
I know. I don't know.
I kind of want a Daft Punk helmet, but I don't know if I want to go down that rabbit hole.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of people are doing. I've been seeing printing Mandalorian helmets. Those are pretty popular.
Yeah, Star Wars.
My problem is that things around your face plus glasses don't work very well. So
true.
Yeah.
So just incorporate the glasses into your build.
Yeah. Mandalorian helmet with glasses.
Yeah, on top. That'd be great.
Right. with like a little inset for them.
A Daft Punk helmet with glasses on top.
Yeah.
Make some giant glasses.
I love it. Oh. Well, cool. Thanks. This has been super fun. Thank you for sharing your balloons with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem.
It's been a lot of fun. I'm glad your balloon was successful.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's always good. It's bright.
It is. It's super good. Yeah, at first I was like, why isn't this lighting up very well? And then I was like, oh, it's because the LEDs aren't lined up right. So yeah, no, it looks super good.
And if you wanted to make a whole bunch of them and daisy chain them together, you take a pixel blaze and do that.
Yep. Yeah.
That's the easiest way to make any of the balloons look really good. I've got one of the larger balloons in my living room running off of a pixel blaze, and it makes all the other balloons look bad.
Yeah.
I have to work twice as hard to get anywhere close to that. It's never going to be close to that, but it's workable with WLED. But if you really want the best looking light performance and the most flexibility, the pixel blazes are where it's at for sure.
Agreed. Cool. All right. Well, I think that's a wrap. Successful balloon making. Woohoo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Thank you everybody for joining in, and thank you for watching after the fact, because I know a bunch of you do. So awesome. And then let's see, up next week we have Alicia White, and we're going to be doing some paper to circuit stuff, and we're going to be talking about all the things. Alicia is an embedded programmer, and she has her own business called Logical Elegance. And yeah, we're going to be talking embedded programming and STEM and making products. It's going to be good. Cool. Well, thank you so much, JP. And
right on.
See you all next time.
Thanks for having me.